What is up, guys? My name is John. Welcome to my channel. If you've clicked on this video, you've probably decided that you're looking for the best beginner camera in 2023. Now, I'm here to break it down on why you shouldn't get the T7, and then I'm going to explain a good alternative and what you should be looking for in a camera. Now, while your use case might be a little different than mine, I took a couple of photos on my iPhone. I thought, wow, this is really fun, and decided to look into buying a camera. And one of the cameras that I saw most often around the time, and this is probably 2018, was the Canon Rebel T7. And it goes by a different name internationally, which I will probably reference in the title. But one of the things that I found is this is a very lackluster camera. I mean, it's a camera. Don't get me wrong. It's better than your iPhone. But there's severe limitations with this purchase. And with regards to that, I'm here to warn you that there are better alternatives. Now, jumping right into the Canon Rebel T7, you have its autofocus system, which is extremely limited. It has exactly 7 focus points, whenever looking through the viewfinder, that severely limit you. And quite frankly, its autofocus isn't very fast, and it isn't very good either. I will often find that I will have 2 identical looking photos that were snapped back to back, one being in focus, one not being in focus. Now, the problem with that is bigger than you would imagine. One of the biggest issues with that is that when you're taking photography of a sports event, or you're taking photographs of your friends at a concert, or just in general, capturing a candid photo of a funny moment, you don't have time to ask people to freeze, right? You have to have your camera capture the moment in time without giving it a second chance. It needs to be perfect. We demand that it's perfect, especially at the price of $549. That's the least that you can expect from a camera. Now, in terms of the Canon Rebel T7, there are more flaws. Hey, don't mind if I jump into this conversation. So I was editing the video and I realized that I kind of did a disservice. I mean, at the end of the day, the Canon Rebel T7 is still a fairly good camera. Now, it's just trial and error is really what it comes down to. You're still going to be able to get beautiful shots. And here's a little preview of some of the ones that I've done with this camera. And with very little effort, there's no additional lighting setups or anything like that. It's really just handheld point and shoot, maybe using the onboard flash. So back to the video, I just wanted to let you guys know that, the Canon Rebel T7 isn't that bad. Number 2, the biggest issue that I found with the Canon Rebel T7 is going to be its fixed LCD display, which can get really cumbersome and severely limiting when you're trying to get more creative shots from lower angles, higher angles, whatever the case might be. You are fixed to your body when it comes to the Canon Rebel T7. Otherwise, you're shooting in the blind. Number 3, with the Canon Rebel T7, one of the biggest downsides to it, though it is connected to technology, it's not very effective. In fact, it's there, but you're not going to use it. Some of the features that the Canon Rebel T7 features through the Canon Connect app include remote live shooting and as well as transferring of photos. But if you're shooting in RAW format, which trust me, you will, you are not going to be using this app. In fact, your first purchase, and I would recommend it, is some sort of adapter that connects to the device that you have most, be that your laptop or your phone. Get an adapter for your SD card, micro SD conversion, whatever you're using, and make sure you have that because it's going to be a lot faster when you're transferring RAW photos. Otherwise, unless you have 1 or 2 or 3 good shots, it doesn't even make sense. You're just going to be sitting there forever on the Canon Connect app. Now, this camera overall, it's $549. It comes with a lens. What is the better alternative? I would like to introduce to you the SL3. Now, the Canon Rebel SL3, which is actually what I'm filming this video on, is a camera that was introduced 2 years later. And boy, it's unrecognizable to the T7. It's a little bit of a smaller form factor. It's using a different battery. But more importantly, it has a touchscreen LCD display that makes it extremely easy to navigate between the different modes and also to make on-the-fly changes while you're doing your shoots. And the best part about it is when you're not using the LCD screen, you could tuck that bad boy back in and it'll protect it, which is something that you can't say for this lens. Now, let's say you did buy a Canon Rebel T7 because you found it used, which I'm actually going to touch on. You are in luck because even if you do get the SL3, you're going to be able to take your lenses over from the T7 over to the SL3, which is actually really amazing and is something that I did myself. Even though the SL3 that I got came with an 18 to 55 millimeter lens, I was able to port over my zoom lens and my prime lenses over to that system. Now, I know I mentioned prices. The SL3 is about $749.99. The T7 is about $549.99. With that in mind, there are alternatives on where you can purchase these cameras. Most people think, well, I'm going to go run over to Best Buy. I'll pick up a camera, they're on sale, or I'll go to Amazon.com. I'll get it refurbished, or, it's on sale. The truth is that the best way to get a camera and the best way to get anything in life is secondhand, but more so with cameras because their value tends to go right to the half the moment they're purchased, especially with the beginner cameras. Additionally, beginner cameras are interesting because people will get a camera because they thought that they were good with iPhone photography, and then they realize that they really like the form factor of the iPhone, and they can't imagine, or they imagine that they could, but they ended up not using the camera as often, so they usually sell it at half the price that they purchased it for. So, for example, my SL3, I purchased for $300 with the lens. Now, the Canon Rebel T7, you could probably pick up for $100 to $200 online or on Facebook Marketplace, but realistically, just opt in for the SL3, pay the $200 more, and you're going to get a lot better. You're going to have a lot better life, is what I'm going to say. Now, I know that we spoke about the ways that you could purchase a T7 or SL3 very inexpensively using Facebook Marketplace or any other online means by buying it used. Now, if you're like me and you're really committed to photography and you just want to get it new because you don't even want to deal with the hassle of organizing a meetup, please use the link in the description below. It links to Amazon. You'll get the best deal, but I'll get a little percentage of it, probably like 1%. But nevertheless, Amazon's paying the little guy. So use the link below because maybe I can buy a new camera myself depending on how this video does. As always, if you like this video, guys, make sure you drop a thumbs up and subscribe to me down below. Trust me, I don't post every day. So if I do post, it's going to be a good review. Otherwise than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.